Hey guys, Dilla here, minimalistsurvival.com. So today I'm going to show you how to make a rocket stove out of a few tin cans. Rocket stoves are a great stove. They're natural solid fuel stove and they put out a lot of heat, so they're also great as just a heat source. But for a stove, they're fantastic to cook on, great for a survival situation or just an emergency backup to your household stove at home. So stick with me and I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. Alright guys, so here's the basic loadout for what we're going to need to build this stove. The vermiculite's going to be an insulator, keep the stove cool to the touch on the outside. You're going to want a 1 gallon can opener, Sharpie, tin snips. You're going to need 3 cans of the same size. Doesn't matter what comes in them, I don't care. You're also going to want this PBR with an XD koozie on it just to grease the wheels. So we're going to get these cans all cleaned, emptied out, get them all ready to go, pull labels off, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're all set to go here. So we have all the labels removed. Removed just the top off of the large can and one of the small cans. The other 2 small cans, removed the top and the bottom. We did all this just using a standard household can opener. Obviously we had to graduate to the 16-ounce PBR in the XD koozie to get this job done. Got to keep those wheels greased. So the next thing we're going to do is look at how this is all going to be assembled. Okay, so we have our hole marked. We just held the can up here like so and just rolled it around and traced it with the Sharpie. So now we're just going to take our snips and just carefully going to punch them into the can, cut a hole like so, and then we're just going to continue to go around and cut this hole out. You want to cut it small first. You want it to be snug fit, so cut it small and gradually make it bigger until the fit here is nice and tight. Okay guys, we got our first cans fit together. Looks like that from the top. You should see about 1 inch of the can inside the other. So the fire is actually going to get fed through this can here. Going to kind of be housed in here and vent through the top chimney piece. The next step is going to be to cut the hole in the larger can. We need to do that in a place where you have this fire can about 1 inch off the bottom so you can get the vermiculite as an insulator underneath it. So we'll just hold it up like so. Go ahead and take the Sharpie, mark our cutout, and again, cut it small and just keep getting it gradually larger and larger until this can fits tight. It's going to go through this can into this can, just like you see here. Okay, so we got the main components pretty much put together. So what we have is the feed tube here, where we're going to actually feed the fire. It's going to actually burn in this inner can here. What we're going to do now is make a chimney out of this can by splitting it lengthwise like so, and then coiling it just a little bit so it fits snug inside this other can like that. We'll have a nice chimney, and then we'll cut a hole in this lid so the lid will fit down right on top, and we'll fill it with vermiculite as an insulator. So stick with me, we'll get these last few pieces put together here, and be sure to refill that PBR. Keep those wheels greased. Okay, looks like we have all the pieces put together here. We have the hole cut in the lid, we have the chimney cut to height, and we have it split so it'll fit inside the other can. What that'll do is it'll give us just the right height so it sits just below the rim on the outside of the stove, because we're actually going to want to set our pot on the wide part of the stove, so you don't want your chimney poking up. That'll give us a nice wide base to set a pot or a pan on. So we're going to fill this up with vermiculite, get it all set to go, and then we'll go ahead and do a burn test. When you're pouring your vermiculite in, you'll probably want to just cover the chimney up with something. I just kind of draped a piece of paper over it. It just keeps it from getting inside. You can see I got a little bit in there, but once we get the lid piece on here, once we get that set, we'll be able to just dump that vermiculite out the top. Vermiculite's kind of like perlite. It's just something you'll find at any home and garden type place. You just put it in the soil. It's kind of like an aerator or what have you. It's a great insulator because it's very airy, so it fills the void, makes everything really tight, nice and solid, but it creates a good air buffer to create a good insulator for the stove so it doesn't get hot to the touch. So I'm going to go ahead and work this lid in place. I'm going to have to use both hands, so I'll have to put the camera down, but I'm just going to squeeze and play with this chimney until I can get it to squeeze through the hole in that lid, get everything set. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut a couple slits around the perimeter here and fold the tabs down to hold, not only hold the lid down, but create an air gap too, so when we set a top on here, that the fire still can breathe and it'll come out those little air gaps. So stick with me, guys, we're just about done. Okay guys, so here we are. We got our finished rocket stove here. Haven't burned it yet, so we're going to go ahead and do a trial run, see what we get here. So I have my homemade neck knife here, a little fire steel in there. We're going to use that to strike the fire. Got a little bit of char cloth just to help guarantee combustion there. Got some dried grass, some cedar bark, some strips of cedar bark, you know, pencil lead, pencils, and slightly larger. So let's get this fire started and see how she burns. Alright guys, there you have it. Rocket stove out of a few tin cans. Great little stove. Burns almost no fuel. Just put a bunch of little twigs in there. Burns very hot. I mean, you could easily put a pot or a pan up there and cook your food, boil water, whatever you want to do. Just a great all-around stove for survival situations or just an emergency backup to the stove at home. However, definitely hot to the touch. So as far as the vermiculite as an insulator, there might be something better out there, I'm not sure. It just seems like anything that's going to conduct heat obviously is not going to be a very good insulator. I thought the vermiculite being so airy would work well. So the search continues for a better insulator, but as far as everything else goes, I'm real happy. The stove turned out great. It's working extremely well, so I couldn't be happier. Thanks again guys for watching. Hope you learned something from the video, and enjoy making a rocket stove of your own. Until next time, Jay Dilla signing out, minimalistsurvival.com.